I don't think you could have avoided the flies.
No, I was just surprised at how many flies. Because again, even in the house, we had the cake sitting in there, and if
flies getting in there.
And I mean, they were flying into the house.
It's probably just the time of year.
It was interesting though, because it's not that it was
There's
hot.
There's a lot of flies this time of year.
Is there?
August is a big fly season.
Really? You know that? Like,
and bees.
It's just one of those weird things, like August is
just because I'm thinking about football practice, there was always flies and bumblebees flying around.
This is the worst time of year too, because when it's like the change of season, they're like stupid bees.
Yeah.
Like they're idiots. Like they like hang on to you and like don't know why.
You're
just like, dude, like
either
sting me or move on.
Do something.
Just be done with it. Yeah.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 40 of The Real Word. We're going to recap here in the main topic.
We're not even going to celebrate that one?
Oh, yeah. Celebrate. Little celebration. Go ahead.
Yay.
What do you want? You're just hoping somebody's got a mimosa laying around or something? You know?
We may actually. I was even thinking about that, like a little ding, like a little...
Oh, yeah.
Ding.
We need a little dinger. We're going to recap a topic from last week. With Facebook.
Yep.
If you're in the real estate industry, broker, agent, this one is very, very important.
For sure.
Facebook has, after the HUD complaint that we referenced last week, they've moved forward and removed certain ad features. So, for instance, you can no longer run a Facebook ad to a demographic or people that are interested in being likely to move. That one's gone.
Jill, did you go look at it?
Yeah, Jill checked it last week when we were looking at the ads manager on Facebook. Likely to move is gone. I believe that one I'm 100% positive
They have a list. I think they have a list in that article that you're reading on Realtor Magazine.
I also believe that the category of people that have just pulled a pre-qualification is gone.
Interesting though, because I feel like, as realtors, the amount of times clients are like, oh my goodness, I'm getting bombarded by other, as a buyer, you get things in the mail constantly after you've gotten one pre-approval.
Of course, yeah.
So I'd like to think that it would go across all lines.
But remember, but this is just Facebook's world,
right? So
maybe those lists are getting to other places, and other people are continuing to use them. Facebook has removed more than 5,000 ad target options to help prevent misuse. So over 5,000 options that as a real estate agent or broker that you were able to use to promote listings are now gone.
Yeah, that's huge.
That is huge. And this is why, and I've said this on the show multiple times, this is why if you're an agent or a broker or brokerage or team out there right now, and the majority of your business comes from a place like Facebook, you're extremely vulnerable. Just like all those agents that are spending $40,000, $50,000 a month on Zillow ads, you're extremely vulnerable because you don't have multiple funnels for your leads to flow into. Right? So if you're solely built on Facebook and reliant on Facebook, here's a clear indicator that things can change overnight in a Facebook world.
I think with the conversation though that we're going to be having more isn't necessarily leads coming in, because I can't say many.
Facebook ads, Facebook leads are a real thing.
No.
They're just much longer tailed.
But my only point is that I think that in my mind, who this is going to affect the most is going to be our sellers, because we're going to have conversations with them that, yes, we are going to do our best to get qualified buyers in here. And yes, we're going to, but obviously with all of these categories being removed, you can't really target in on, I'm going to get that 62-year-old woman that likes caviar to come into your $1 million home.
We used to be able to sit down and say on Facebook, I can take this age demographic and I can look at who is likely to move and who just pulled a mortgage, and we can market to them, and sellers will be like, oh my gosh, this is fabulous.
Right. Yeah. So I think we're going to have different conversations with our sellers now. Obviously our job is to continue to market and get as many people in. I think we could still obtain that, but to say yes, we can target exactly that blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman that you wanted to come in here, or man or whomever, you know, I think that we're going to have to be a little bit more, you're going to have to be knowledgeable enough to know what you can and can't do for your seller at this point to get those certain buyers that they were originally thinking that they could like hone in on.
I think that's more important than anything.
For sure.
You need to understand these changes as they happen, understand how to use the ad manager platform on Facebook, and don't be one of those agents or brokers that goes in to a listing appointment and says, oh, I'm going to put you on Facebook. Because putting you on Facebook to your 272 friends so that your aunts and aunties can, you know, aunts and uncles and Auntie Annie and Uncle, you know, Jerry can see this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, explain to your seller, even go as far as taking your laptop and showing the seller the ads manager and what you can and can't do. I like, you know, I love in the listing appointment getting their hands a little bit dirty so that they fully understand the process. And when you go through all of the different things that you do for your seller, then it becomes a really easy conversation when you start to talk about commission. Like, hey, I'm at 6 because I just showed you exactly what's going on.
Or like we've been having conversations the last few days for like price reductions, because, you know, at that point, you know, when you're that far in and you've been showing them everything, they are really relying on you as the professional, and they speak it. I mean, we went on, well, at least one the other day for a reduction. I mean, they kept saying like, you're the professional, like this is your job, like this is what you do, like we trust you, like this is what, you know, we're satisfied. Like, so I think that it's super important. Again, especially as things change, it's our duty to make sure that they understand it too, because again, like 3 months ago, maybe when you listed that property and the things that you're able to do for them then has drastically changed.
That's a great point. As the agent, you're never getting the price reduction if your seller doesn't fully understand what you've done for them at the current price.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So you're definitely the educator in all facets. I mean, unfortunately, you're going to have to become pretty worldly in Facebook and Instagram, especially if you're saying that that's the platforms that you're going to be using. You have to know exactly what's going on, because it's sort of your job at that point.
And paying attention, not how I pay attention to movies and that type of culture, but paying attention to these platforms where people are spending their time as a salesperson and a marketer is super important.
For sure.
Like right now at the end of 2018, you should understand that the majority of the social attention happens to live on Instagram.
Right.
Doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that Facebook's a place that you all of a sudden ignore because they made one shift.
Right.
Understand the shift.
Oh, no, yeah.
Right?
There's going to be multiple shifts. Yeah. I mean, well, maybe I shouldn't be surprised.
Facebook's interesting because I think that the Facebook TV, whatever they call it, the Facebook show, not live, but
channel?
Facebook channels has completely not gone to plan, meaning it hasn't gotten the attention that people.
No.
The only show that I've ever been like, I have to check this out because it's exclusively on. Is what?
Brady.
Yeah,
Gaga
Brady.
For Brady. Or Gaga for Brady.
Yeah, whatever it was. Brady was the show.
Tom Brady.
So I mean, if they get really good shows, that can shift. But like generally speaking, if I'm gonna watch content that I know is on both Facebook and YouTube, I'm gonna watch 100% if it's in both places. I'm gonna watch 100% of it on YouTube.
Oh, for sure. I mean, my daughter's actually like she's much more knowledgeable in YouTube than I am. But I mean, it's pretty much like Facebook though in the YouTube world. I mean, she's having conversations with people. She's messaging her friends through YouTube.
I like that UI better on YouTube than I do on Facebook. You know, and I don't really watch any content ever on IGTV through the Instagram.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I don't find myself watching
and it's funny though because I don't watch because I see that there's like a Facebook stories. Like I don't watch Facebook stories, but I watch Instagram stories.
Right, I never. But that's interesting too.
Yeah, I don't ever, and they're always
stories.
there. But I'm like, no, if you're not cool enough to be on an Instagram story, you're not cool enough to be on here.
And it could be an Instagram feed, but so there's all these nuances and being able to understand. Okay, most people are watching their video content. Maybe, and this is you know what I and certain content. Obviously, your Facebook Live is exclusive to Facebook.
Or what demographic you're trying to get. I mean, if I'm trying to get my daughter, like I'm going to YouTube. If I'm trying to get my grandma, like I'm going to Facebook. You know, if I'm maybe trying to get a 30-year-old, I'm going to Instagram. Like that's why you have to hit all platforms.
And there's a lot of professionals watching YouTube.
Oh no, for 100%. I'm not denying that at all. I'm just saying, like, for a while you were doing Snapchat because you really thought that Snapchat was sort of. And how are you feeling about that?
So I don't post. I maybe post one every other.
Because you were thinking that Snapchat was going to be like this huge sort of
Because I see
lead generator in a certain demographic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really did. And before, and I've actually generated leads off of Snapchat, but before Instagram stole, they didn't steal it because it was open for the taking, but took that feature and made it their own in the Instagram platform, there was a lot of that 30 to 45-year-old demographic shifting over to Snapchat. Some of them have stuck and they're just living in Snapchat. But a lot of people just said, I'm just going to use Instagram because it's there.
Right.
I can do the stories.
Well, there was also so much controvery over Snapchat, though, too, because once you watch the Snapchat, it was done. And that was like a lot of like teacher-student scandals.
That was a lot of soccer moms getting a little ridiculous. Is what was happening.
Luckily, I am no soccer mom.
No, you're a football mom.
I'm a football mom.
Not that there's a difference there. But anyways, Racket number 1. Lingering listing photos causing friction between sellers and their agent, past or current.
Right.
So what do I mean by lingering listing photos?
So there's 2 different articles that are referenced here. We read an Inman article, we read a Realtor article. One article was talking a little bit more about if the listing expires, if the listing expires, that the listing agent should remove the photos because obviously their privacy is
a listing can expire.
Yes.
And it expires on say the MLS.
Right.
Right. And so from there, Zillow and Realtor.com and Truly in these places see that the listing has expired and now it goes to, property no longer for sale, not for sale anymore, whatever, not on the market. Sometimes I've seen it more so in the past than currently. Those photos that were used in the listing will stay and live in Zillow, and sellers like, dude, why'd you keep my photos on the listing?
Well, it happens though too, because when I work with like a flipper too, and you list it, sometimes even the old photos from when it was like a mess comes up with the new price, and I'm like, oh man, this is hurting me for a little bit. But
have you ever seen it where like your new photos and the old photos are like bunched together?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that happen too.
So that was one thing they were talking about, expired listings, removing them. But then they were also talking about that these new buyers that are buying the properties are then asking the listing agents to remove them because their privacy.
Now they live in there, and which one? Okay, let me put something on the table here. If you think you don't have privacy because somebody can see in your living room, but yet I can take a Google map and I can literally sit in your front yard on a Google map aerial and spin around and look at each little speck of your house.
Or if you're on Snapchat, I can see you just walking around your home.
Yeah, you can see that. You see, like, if you have your location on, absolutely. But like, come on now. I mean, you're not calling up Google and asking them to take their abilities to zoom in on people's neighborhoods.
Right.
And you're probably doing it to your neighbor to see what they have in their backyard anyways. Like, that's ridiculous.
I feel like as an agent, the only really good thing that comes of this is that no one can then take your photos because you did buy them. I have had agents that have taken my photos before without me knowing. I feel like such an idiot having to call them because I just feel like it's super like catty, but like, like those were mine. Like, sorry, you listed it in the winter when there's no leaves, but you don't get to steal my photos with the leaves on it. You can buy them from me.
Yes,
I'll sell them. I'll sell them to you.
In the Inman article, which we will link up, and Melanie, I apologize. Melanie made a comment on YouTube. She goes, "My pet peeve is when you guys don't link stuff up." I
thought we always linked it up.
No, we always link it up, but it YouTube changed something so they weren't actually clickable links. So now we know what they changed. You have to have HTTP in there on all times.
Well, Melanie's like our number one fan. We can't screw
We cannot let Melanie down. So Melanie, I apologize
Melanie.
for the mislink. If we're still missing something, please drop us a comment.
Appreciate
reach
the feedback
out.
though.
But we'll link this one up. And they stated in here that there should be an opt-out, meaning you know how you can opt out of Zillow as a seller? You should be able to opt out having your photos remain in the MLS or in, you're just thinking of the work, but don't worry about that. You would have an admin do that. Removing the photos from the MLS and removing them from these sites once the listing goes down.
Well, I think it would be when you close out, like because when you're going through the closing process, and maybe it would have to be on something on the MLS side because that's what's feeding these monsters.
The MLS would have to do something there.
Yeah.
All right. So do you think that's a racket, though? I think it's a racket that people think their privacy is somehow hampered by their photo of their living room.
I think it's actually kind of interesting because I feel I get it. It's much more interesting to me that these homeowners are complaining about removing the listings, and like it's not the agents that are. It's interesting. It's interesting, but I get it.
I don't get it. Anyways,
okay. No, all right.
Racket number 2.
We're off.
Should real estate agents wear body cams?
I think it's so fun.
You think it's fun?
So I have.
You turn it into a vlog.
So I have. Well, I have lots of things to say about this. I mean, I have a few I have a few concerns.
Okay. Your video cam should be live, by the way.
It has to be live.
Tune in at any time.
So I have a few concerns, though, because if you look at my cell phone right now, I'm at 12%.
Yes.
I mean,
is your concern just going to run off the battery of your cell phone?
No, my concern is that my body cam. So the body cam they're thinking is for the realtor's security. Yep. Well, if my body cam is not charged.
Which it will never be. If you're not charging your phone, you're not charging your body cam.
It's just a waste of time. I also am concerned because have you seen that? I think I sent it to you. That video of he was an older gentleman. He was going in Europe and he had bought a GoPro.
Okay.
And he had no idea how to do the GoPro. So his entire vacation is this GoPro, but it's the GoPro is facing him and not the landscape.
Got it. So he was reversed. He's talking about things that
he's like, look at that beautiful mountain. He had like a really cute accent. He's talking about the mountains, but all you see is like nose hairs, and it's a really funny video. Nice. So that would probably be one of my problems too. Yep. Like my arm would always be in the way, or like so the charging it, and then I think my other concern would really be. I think you would see my bartender quite often. You would get to know the bartender if you're on Nicole's body cam live feed. No, that's not true. But it's mostly being charged. I'm concerned about that. I just don't know what it accomplishes. Meaning, if there's not the article on Realtor Mag, which we'll link up, Melanie, we'll link that up. This person, Sherry Hinkle, who's in the article, she was sexually assaulted. And it sounded like it was even somebody that she quasi knew. Like well, she went through all the steps, meaning she pre-qualified the person. She set a proper appointment. She confirmed. She researched the person online. She got proof of funds. She knew the parents. Like she did everything she could. And she even was like walking behind him instead of front of him. Although yes, I guess my problem is with the body cam doesn't prevent. No. The assault. Well, but I guess my biggest maybe it does where they're like, okay, there's a camera. I'm definitely. But we're also assuming. So after you go through all of those steps, though, I'm wondering though if she still would have been like, let me put the body cam on, because I mean, after going through all the steps, if she felt secure enough. So let's say she wears the body cam 100% of the time. Yeah. This guy is, not right. So does the body cam stop him from? My point is the body cam can't stop the assault. So the assault happens either way. Now I agree because she already has his name, his address. Like she knows what he looks like. It's not like he's masked every time. So I mean, she's got his proof of funds. There's evidence. I mean, obviously there's evidence at this point that it's happened. But it's happened. So you're not preventing it from happening. I'd much rather see. So do I think this is a racket? Yeah, because I don't think it's practical to be set up for the. It's like I don't carry a gun on me. I don't have the license or the gun or the want to do it. No. But my point is, I would only carry a gun to prevent this one, a very low percentage thing of happening of somebody pulling a gun on me. Right. I would only have the gun to combat another gun. That's a low percentage thing of, to happen. I guess if you're a female, the percentage of being sexually assaulted are higher than a gun getting pulled on me. I get that. Well, then everybody should, but then every female should wear a body cam. It can happen anytime, right? So that goes back to the first point. Maybe you just wear the body cam because you want to do a vlog. Just do it for the vlog. And then you might just catch some shit in the middle of it. That would be fun. And if that one bad situation happens to you. Yes. If you're doing it for a vlog, it's not a racket. Let's do it. Anything else is a racket. That might be fun. That could be fun. Mine just would never be charged. Yeah, your vlog would be. It would be like all time though. Again, it would be the guy it would just be wrong angles. But anyway, all right. Racket number 3: hospitals investing in real estate, meaning building homes, rehabbing homes, communities, that whole thing, grants for new homes in the area
to make a healthier community.
I love it. This is not a racket at all. This
Okay.
is happening in Ohio. One of the local hospitals there is actually participating in helping
Columbus.
its city sort of rebuild. They were finding that a lot of the children that were coming in multiple times a year. They were living in like rat infested properties, and just obviously things that, you know, none of us really want to think is really going on, but is. And the hospital found that obviously with a better, healthier like living situation, that they're obviously healthier and can go on to live much more productive and happy lives. So they're participating in helping these cities, which is awesome. I think it says that they've almost given almost 7
They've
million,
given
6.6 million
just under 7 million
to rebuild. I mean, they're building ground up, they're rehabbing, they're renovating. I'm assuming again, because they were talking about like murders have gone down, so there's obviously adequate lighting at that point and security. And I think it's such a spectacular thing. I think it's the right thing for hospitals to do. It's sort of like colleges, you know, I think like hospitals and colleges can really help any city. I mean, I think we talk about it sometimes, like I think Hartford could probably, in Connecticut could probably sort of prosper if there was just like a college down there that could really, you know, I think that it's awesome that they're wanting to give back. They're not trying to be greedy. They're trying to help like families and young ones and whomever to
a lot of these best places to
lives.
live lists. We were talking about one on the radio this week. Best places to live in Connecticut. 12.5% of the formula was from like how many people have higher education in your community. So all these things, you know, lifestyle kind of factor in. It's super interesting. One, if I was in Columbus, Ohio, I would absolutely want to be. This would be my hospital of choice
for sure.
Because this hospital is clearly not run by scumbags. Most hospitals would probably be like, how can we make people sicker?
Yeah.
Like, how can we have more sick people?
Right.
So that, right? I mean, I don't know. From a business standpoint, they're actually trying to be proactive and make sure that people in their community are healthier, which would mean they would have less patients.
Well, potentially, yeah.
Which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
And so investing in the real estate, I mean, it's as long as they're putting that money in the hands of a reputable developer or builder or whatever they're doing, I'm all for it. It gets interesting when you start to give money to people that are running a racket, right?
We were talking about that earlier, racketeers.
Yeah, that's when it could get a little.
But
interesting.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's so great to read something that's like positive, and I love to see that. You know, again, I feel like sometimes hospitals get sort of like a bad rap because they're just like money hungry, and I get that. It costs a lot of money to.
This is 22 million, so they're in for. You know, a third of, just about a third.
It's awesome. So props to, it's a children's hospital. Scroll down a little bit. So props to,
pediatric practice at Nationwide Children's Hospital
in Columbus, Ohio. High five to you guys.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I'm
very well done. Certainly the work they're doing is not a racket.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. I am curious though about like the whole sort of real estate end of all of that. Like, is it like, are they rentals?
It doesn't go into depth.
Owning them? Are you are you buying them? Who's buying them? Who's moving in? I feel like I need to dig a little bit deeper.
I mean, they're going.
Or if one of our followers is from Columbus, Ohio, and is running into this, I'd love to know sort of how this is.
There's some grants and there's some donations, but a lot of these homes are being resold. So.
Oh, they are being resold.
Yeah.
So fun.
Renovate vacant homes for resale. So they're just bettering the community.
Well, that's just it. They're beautifying it, which helps.
When you live somewhere beautiful, when you're around people that can lift you up,
right?
Weather,
mindset,
obviously,
changes your mindset.
all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Naples was voted. Naples, Florida, which I'm very passionate about. Everyone knows this. Naples, Florida was voted last year the #1 happiest and healthiest place to live in America on one of these lists. It's obviously always super debatable. But when I go to Naples, I'm like, man, I get off the plane down there and I feel healthier immediately.
Well, that's because you go down there in February when it's gray here and it's like bright yellow there. Yeah, I'm certain that even if you went to Miami, you'd probably feel happy.
But I'm a big believer. We're Northeast
I'm not
peeps.
disagreeing with you though.
I'm a big believer in
Well, but then you also want to take care of you're then taking care, you're not just like dropping your Coke can because there's 5 other Coke cans.
When you're in our town, Guilford, Connecticut, when you're in downtown, when you're by that green, do you not feel a little bit better than when you're in, another town that doesn't have a downtown and you're just on some random road or side, like, doesn't it make you feel better?
Oh, for sure. Well, it's funny because we even went to California a few weeks ago, and it was really it was flat. Like, I remember it being really flat, and I just remember being like,
area.
Yes, in that one area, and that we didn't go very far.
State.
It is very big. We were only in one spot. I'm hearing you, but I remember sort of like driving through, being like, like, I'm cool where I live.
We were driving through Anaheim. When we got to Malibu, you didn't feel so cool anymore, did you?
No, Malibu was pretty freaking kick-ass.
All right, guys. Really appreciate it. Episode 40. I'm having a lot of fun. Are you?
Yeah, woohoo.
Certainly, any comments, topics, anything that you want us to talk about, please drop that in the comments or send it to us on a DM. Either works. Completely cool. Melanie, we're going to get better on these links.
Don't worry,
I think we figured out the
hack. We're not
going
to let you down.
On YouTube. We love you. We love all you guys. And we'll see you guys next week.